Coney Island, Brooklyn, November 12, 1941. Dawn breaks cold over the Half Moon Hotel. At 0710 hours, a hotel employee walks onto the kitchen extension roof, 5 floors above the street. He finds a body. The man is lying face up, wearing pajamas torn from impact. 2 bedsheets, knotted together, lie beside him. Blood pools around his head. The employee runs for police. By 0730 hours, NYPD homicide detectives arrive at the scene. They identify the body immediately. Abe Kid Twist Reles, age 34, the most valuable witness in American law enforcement history. Dead 6 stories below the window of the 6th floor room, where 6 police officers were supposed to be guarding him 24 hours a day. The timing is catastrophic. Reles is scheduled to testify in 3 days against Albert Anastasia, one of the most powerful mob bosses in New York. His testimony would link Anastasia directly to Murder Incorporated, the enforcement arm of organized crime that killed an estimated 400 to 1,000 people between 1929 and 1941. Reles already sent 3 men to the electric chair with his testimony: Harry Pittsburgh Phil Strauss, Martin Bugsy Goldstein, and Louis Lepka Buckleter, the only mob boss ever executed in America. Now he's dead. The official explanation: he tried to escape. Nobody believes it. Abe Reles grew up in Brownsville, Brooklyn in the 1910s and 20s. Poor Jewish neighborhood, crowded tenements, street gangs as social structure. He learns to fight early, develops a reputation for violence by his teens. By the 1930s, he operates as an enforcer for the Shapiro brothers, who control local rackets: gambling, loan sharking, labor extortion. The Shapiros make one critical mistake. They disrespect Meyer Shapiro, a rival connected to the national crime syndicate being organized by Lucky Luciano and Meyer Lansky. The syndicate sends representatives to eliminate the Shapiro brothers. Reles volunteers. He helps kill all 3 Shapiros in 1931. The syndicate rewards him with control of Brownsville operations. Murder Incorporated emerges from this consolidation. The National Crime Syndicate needs enforcement capability that operates across city and family boundaries. They create a murder-for-hire organization based in Brooklyn. Reles becomes a key operator. He doesn't run it. That's Albert Anastasia and Louis Buckleter. But Reles is a specialist. He kills people. Estimates range from 30 to 100 murders personally committed between 1931 and 1940. He uses guns, knives, ice picks, ropes. He's methodical, efficient, reliable. The organization trusts him because he delivers results. The structure is simple. When the National Commission orders a hit, the contract goes to Buckleter or Anastasia. They assign it to their crew in Brooklyn. Reles and his partners, Pittsburgh Phil Strauss, Happy Mayone, Dasher Abendando, others, execute the contract. They get paid per job, approximately $1,000 to $5,000 per hit, depending on target difficulty. It's professional murder, industrialized killing, death as business transaction. Between 1931 and 1941, Murder Incorporated operates in at least 16 cities. The body count is uncertain but substantial. Some estimates reach 1,000 victims. Conservative counts stay around 400. Either number represents systematic murder on unprecedented scale. February 1940. Everything changes. Abe Reles has been coughing up blood for months. He believes he's dying of cancer. He's not. It's tuberculosis treatable, but he thinks he's terminal. His wife Rose is pregnant, desperate, terrified he'll be executed for one of the dozens of murders he committed. She goes to Brooklyn District Attorney William O'Dwyer's office in tears. She begs him to save her husband from the electric chair. She offers cooperation. She says Abe will talk if they guarantee his life. O'Dwyer has been building a case against organized crime since becoming DA in 1939. He has pieces, arrest records, surveillance, testimony from low-level criminals. But he lacks direct evidence linking bosses to murder operations. Rose Reles offers a connection. O'Dwyer agrees to a deal. Abe Reles will testify truthfully about murder incorporated operations. In exchange, the state will not seek the death penalty for murders he committed. He'll serve time but keep his life. It's not immunity. It's not freedom. It's survival. Reles starts talking in February 1940. Once he begins, the information floods out. He describes the organizational structure. He names bosses. He details specific murders, who ordered them, who executed them, what methods were used, where bodies were disposed. He provides dates, locations, victims' names, amounts paid. He's a walking encyclopedia of organized murder. Every conversation produces new leads, new names, new crimes. O'Dwyer's prosecutors work 18-hour days transcribing Reles statements. By April 1940, they have enough evidence to begin arrests. The first indictments target his former partners. Pittsburgh Phil Strauss is arrested May 1940. He's the crew's most prolific killer, estimated 100-plus murders personally committed. Harry Mayone, Frank Abendando, Louis Capone, all arrested based on Reles' testimony. The trials begin in late 1940. Reles testifies in detail. He describes specific murders. He provides documentation, dates, methods, participants. The jury's convict. May 1941. Pittsburgh Phil Strauss gets executed at Sing Sing. June 1941. Happy Mayone and Dasher Abendando get executed. September 1941. Louis Capone gets executed. Then Reles testifies against Louis Buckleter. Lepka, as he's known, ran labor racketeering operations in New York Garment District, controlled unions, extorted business owners, ordered murders to maintain control. He's already in federal custody on narcotics charges. But O'Dwyer wants murder convictions. Reles provides evidence linking Lepka to multiple contract killings. The trial concludes November 1941. The jury convicts Lepka of first-degree murder. The sentence, death. Execution scheduled for January 1942. He'll be the first and only mob boss to die in the electric chair. But Albert Anastasia remains untouched. He's the ultimate target, the boss who ran Murder Incorporated's daily operations, who controlled the Brooklyn crews, who approved contracts, who paid the killers. Anastasia is powerful, connected, ruthless. He sits on the National Commission alongside Lucky Luciano, Frank Costello, Joe Adonis. Taking down Anastasia would crack the National Syndicate's enforcement structure. It would prove that no one, regardless of rank, is untouchable. O'Dwyer schedules the Anastasia trial for November 1941. Reles is the star witness. His testimony will directly link Anastasia to dozens of murders. The danger is obvious. Anastasia wants Reles dead. Every mob boss wants Reles dead. He's destroyed Murder Incorporated, sent killers to execution, targeted the organization's leadership. Keeping him alive until trial becomes O'Dwyer's primary concern. They move Reles to the Half Moon Hotel in Coney Island. It's a beach resort hotel, mostly empty in November. They designate the 6th floor as secure quarters. They call it the Rat Suite, where informants live under protection. The security arrangement involves 6 police officers rotating in 8-hour shifts. 2 officers remain in Reles' suite at all times. 4 others patrol the hallway and monitor the 6th floor elevator. Reles can't leave. Visitors must be approved. His wife Rose visits under escort. His meals are delivered by police. Windows are supposed to be monitored. The security seems comprehensive. O'Dwyer believes Reles is safe. But the guards are NYPD cops, not federal marshals. They're under local command, answerable to precinct captains and department brass, not insulated federal protection. Several guards have known mob connections. Officer Harvey McLaughlin took vacations in Florida paid for by unknown sources. Officer Victor Robbins drove a car he couldn't afford on police salary. Officer James Boyle had relatives working in mob-controlled unions. The security is compromised from the beginning. Reles knows he's vulnerable. He complains to prosecutors about the guards, says they're lazy, careless, possibly corrupt. The prosecutors promise to investigate but do nothing. Reles requests federal protection. The request is denied. This is a state case under state jurisdiction. The FBI won't intervene. Reles is stuck with NYPD protection despite his concerns. He continues preparing testimony while understanding the danger. November 11, 1941, the night before Reles dies. He spends the evening in his suite with the duty officers. They play cards. They talk. Reles goes to bed around 2,300 hours. The guards remain in the suite's sitting room. Standard procedure. Nothing unusual is reported. At some point during the night, Abe Reles either decides to escape or gets thrown out a window. What happens in between is the mystery that's never solved. November 12, 1941, 0710 hours. The body is discovered on the kitchen roof. Police brass arrive within an hour. They examine the scene. The two knotted bedsheets extend approximately 20 feet, enough to lower someone most of the way down one floor, but not to the ground. A wire from a radio is attached to the radiator in Reles' room, presumably as an anchor point. The official reconstruction: Reles tied bedsheets together, secured them to the radiator with wire, attempted to climb down to the fifth-floor window, lost his grip or the sheets came loose, and fell to his death. The problems with this explanation are immediate and numerous. First, Reles had no reason to escape. He was cooperating voluntarily, protected by agreement with DA's office, safer inside than outside. Second, the sheets and wire could barely support his weight. Reles weighed 160 pounds, and the improvised rope showed no strain marks suggesting someone climbing on it. Third, if trying to escape, why go down? The sixth floor has roof access. Climbing up and across rooftops would be easier than climbing down a sheet rope. Fourth, 6 police officers were supposed to be watching him 24/7. How did he tie sheets together, attach wire, open a window, and begin climbing without anyone noticing? The guard story changes multiple times. Initially, they claim Reles was in his room all night, and they checked on him regularly. Then they admit they were sleeping. Then they say they were playing cards and not paying attention. Then they claim they heard nothing unusual. The inconsistencies are glaring. The official investigation by NYPD Internal Affairs concludes the guards were negligent but not criminal. No charges are filed. All 6 officers returned to duty. Several received promotions within a year. District Attorney O'Dwyer holds a press conference. He announces Reles' death was an escape attempt gone wrong. He provides the official reconstruction. He says there's no evidence of foul play. He declares the investigation closed. The press doesn't believe him. The public doesn't believe him. Other witnesses in protective custody don't believe him. But O'Dwyer has political ambitions. He's positioning himself to run for mayor of New York City. A dead witness who was murdered under police protection would destroy his career. An escape attempt is embarrassing, but manageable. The Anastasia case collapses immediately. Without Reles' testimony, prosecutors lack direct evidence linking Anastasia to specific murders. Other witnesses are too frightened to testify after seeing what happened to Reles. The charges against Anastasia are dropped within weeks. He walks free. He remains a powerful mob boss for another 16 years, until his own murder in 1957. He never faces justice for the murders he ordered through Murder Inc. Alternative theories spread immediately. The most common: mob hit. Someone paid the guards to look away. A killer entered Reles' room, threw him out the window, staged the escape attempt with sheets and wire. The killer left. The guards discovered the body and stuck to the escape story. The payoff was substantial enough that 6 cops stayed silent despite, knowing they were accessories to murder. The mob had motive. Reles' testimony threatened dozens of powerful criminals. They had access. Corrupt cops with mob ties were common in 1941 NYPD. They had opportunity. Reles was isolated in a hotel with the same guards every day. Another theory: The cops themselves did it. Reles was scheduled to testify against Anastasia. Anastasia had powerful connections throughout New York, including in NYPD. The guards received orders, make Reles disappear. They threw him out the window, staged the escape, split the payoff. This theory explains why all 6 guard stories align despite inconsistencies. They were all complicit, all protecting each other, all benefiting from Reles' death. A third theory, Reles actually tried to escape. The sheets and wires suggest planning. Maybe he believed mob killers were coming for him. Maybe he lost faith in police protection after seeing the guards' carelessness. Maybe he decided to run, to disappear, to take his chances on the street rather than wait for murder in a protected room. The theory requires believing Reles was suicidally stupid. Attempting a sheet rope escape from a 6th-floor window is near certain death. But desperate people make desperate choices. The forensic evidence is ambiguous. The medical examiner rules the death accidental. The autopsy shows injuries consistent with falling 6 stories, skull fracture, massive internal trauma, multiple broken bones. But those injuries are also consistent with being thrown from a window. There's no defensive wounds suggesting struggle. There's no evidence of sedation or drugging. The body positioning suggests he fell straight down rather than pushing off, which would be unusual for someone climbing out a window voluntarily. But none of this is conclusive. The window itself raises questions. It's a standard hotel window, approximately 3 feet wide and 4 feet tall. Opening it fully requires unhooking a safety latch. Climbing through requires maneuvering in a small space. Doing this while holding knotted bedsheets and wire, then beginning a descent, requires several minutes of visible activity. The guards claim they heard nothing. That suggests either they weren't in the room or they were deliberately ignoring what was happening. The timing is the most damning evidence against the official story. Reles dies 3 days before the Anastasia trial. Not 3 months. Not 3 weeks. 3 days. That's not coincidence. That's targeted murder timed to prevent testimony. Every law enforcement official investigating the case knows this. Every journalist covering it writes about the timing. But without proof, without confessions, without witnesses, without hard evidence, the official story stands. Escape attempt. Tragic accident. Case closed. William O'Dwyer becomes mayor of New York City in 1946. He serves until 1950 when investigations into police corruption and mob connections force his resignation. He accepts appointment as U.S. ambassador to Mexico, a political exile disguised as promotion. The Reles case follows him throughout. Journalists ask about the dead canary. Political opponents use it against him. O'Dwyer maintains the escape theory until his death in 1964. He never admits the truth, never acknowledges that Abe Reles was murdered under police protection, never takes responsibility for security failure that let organized crime's most valuable witness die 3 days before his biggest testimony. The impact on Murder Incorporated is immediate and permanent. With Reles dead, prosecutors can't pursue remaining cases. Albert Anastasia walks free. Other Murder Incorporated operators avoid prosecution. Some flee to other cities. Others retire from active killing. The organization dissolves gradually, not from law enforcement pressure, but from obsolescence. The National Crime Syndicate shifts tactics after 1941. Contract killings become rarer, more targeted, less systematic. The industrial murder operation that Reles exposed no longer operates openly. Murder Incorporated ends not with arrests, but with evolution into something quieter. The witnesses protected after Reles' death live in terror. The message is clear. Police protection means nothing. Reles had 6 guards and still died. Other informants request federal protection, witness relocation, anything to get away from NYPD custody. Some recant their testimony. Others disappear. The witness protection program doesn't exist yet. That comes in 1970. In 1941, cooperating witnesses are on their own with whatever local police promise to provide. Reles' death proves those promises are worthless against organized crime. The phrase, "the canary who could sing but couldn't fly," enters crime history immediately. Newspapers use it within days of Reles' death. It becomes his epitaph, his legacy, the summary of his life and death. He sang, testified, cooperated, betrayed his partners. He couldn't fly, tried to escape, or was thrown out a window. Either way, ended up dead on a kitchen roof. The phrase mocks him but also acknowledges the tragedy. Reles thought cooperation would save him. He traded information for protection. The protection failed. The information died with him. Albert Anastasia continues operating until October 25, 1957. He's murdered in the barbershop of the Park Sheraton Hotel in Manhattan. 2 gunmen shoot him while he's getting a shave. The killers escape. The murder is never solved. Anastasia died the way he lived, through mob violence, through betrayal, through the same enforcement system he helped build. He avoided justice for murder-incorporated operations. He didn't avoid the mob's internal justice. When younger bosses decided he was obsolete, Louis Buckleter is executed March 4, 1944 at Sing Sing. He's the only major mob boss to die in the electric chair. Reles' testimony put him there. If Reles had lived to testify against Anastasia, maybe Anastasia joins Buckleter in execution. Maybe other bosses follow. Maybe murder incorporated its entire leadership faces capital punishment. Instead, Reles dies in November 1941, and most of the organization's leaders escape prosecution. The 6 guards who were protecting Reles the night he died all remain NYPD officers. None are charged criminally. None are fired. Several receive promotions. Harvey McLaughlin makes sergeant in 1943. Victor Robbins makes detective in 1945. James Boyle retires with full pension in 1955. They carry the secret of what happened that night for the rest of their lives. If they were paid, the money is long spent. If they witness murder, the killers are never identified. If they were simply negligent, they face no consequences beyond internal reprimand. The Half Moon Hotel continues operating until 1995. It becomes public housing, then gets demolished in 2006. The 6th floor where Reles died remains unchanged for decades. Residents report strange occurrences. Windows opening on their own, voices in empty rooms, the sense of being watched. Ghost story nonsense or psychological response to knowing someone died violently in the building. Either way, the legend persists. The canary haunts the place he died. Rose Reles, Abe's widow, lives until 1973. She raises her children alone, refuses interviews, never discusses what her husband told prosecutors or what she believes happened that night. The $100,000 that O'Dwyer's office promised for Reles' cooperation is never paid. Rose files legal claims for years. The city denies responsibility. She dies without compensation, without answers, without justice. The Anastasia trial that never happened represents the biggest what-if in organized crime history. If Reles had lived to testify, Albert Anastasia likely faces conviction for multiple murders. His execution would send shockwaves through the national syndicate. Other bosses would understand they're vulnerable. Law enforcement would understand that cooperation from insiders can reach the highest levels. The mob's code of silence would be permanently broken. Instead, Reles dies, the trial collapses, and Omerta survives. Witnesses understand. Testify and die. Keep silent and live. The lesson is taught in blood on a kitchen roof in Coney Island. The official investigation concludes in December 1941. NYPD rules the death accidental. The DA's office accepts this finding. No further action is taken. The case is closed. Pearl Harbor happens December 7, 1941, less than a month after Reles' death. America enters World War II. Public attention shifts. The dead canary becomes yesterday's news. The murder or accident or escape attempt is forgotten in the larger crisis of global war. But the question persists. How does Abe Reles, protected by 6 police officers in a secured hotel suite, end up dead on a kitchen roof exactly 3 days before he's scheduled to testify against one of America's most powerful mob bosses? The official answer is escape attempt. The probable answer is murder. The certain answer is we'll never know. Everyone who knows the truth is dead. The guards took their secrets to graves. The mob members who might have ordered or executed the hit are long deceased. The evidence is gone. The witnesses are silent. The truth is buried under 80-plus years of speculation, theory, rumor, and deliberate obfuscation. What remains is the body count. Abe Reles killed an estimated 30 to 100 people during his decade as murder incorporated enforcer. His testimony sent at least 4 men to the electric chair. His death prevented testimony that would have sent more. The mathematics of crime and justice, calculated in corpses and convictions, in murders committed and murders prosecuted. Reles died at 34, having lived longer than many of his victims, but not long enough to finish what he started. The canary sang, but died mid-song. The mob he betrayed survived. The justice system he cooperated with failed. The protection he was promised meant nothing. November 12, 1941. Dawn at the Half Moon Hotel. A body on the kitchen roof. 2 knotted bedsheets. 6 police officers with changing stories. A trial that never happens. A mob boss who walks free. A mystery that's never solved. That's the legacy. Abe Kid Twist Reles, the canary who could sing but couldn't fly. He fell, or he was pushed. He tried to escape, or he was thrown. He died accidentally, or he was murdered. Choose which story you believe. The truth died with him on that roof, 6 stories below a window that shouldn't have opened, guarded by cops who shouldn't have looked away. 3 days before testimony that shouldn't have been prevented. The canary is dead. The cage is empty. The truth is gone. That's all we know for certain.